Hi, my name is Brandon Russell, and I'm doing a presentation on passion as it relates to anti-Black racism and epistemic violence. The title of this is Why is the most uncomfortable question? I based it off of the song One is the Loneliest Number. And I say why is the most uncomfortable question because of all the questions you can ask someone, typically why is the hardest to answer. Of course, we hate when a child asks you something and they you answer it to be replied with why. And it's not in the sense that maybe that whole interaction becomes exhausting, but actually it's more frustrating because eventually you can't answer some of those questions. Whether it's scientifically, you're not sure why the sky is blue and how to explain to a child about refraction and light or chlorophyll that makes the plants green, or why they are who they are and what makes them unique. And of course, the questions are endless. So, for me, why is definitely the most uncomfortable question. Of course, I was asked, what am I passionate about? And that was not easy for me to digest. I imagine I have passion. There's got to be a reason I wake up every day. There's got to be a reason that all of you wake up every day. The reason that you do what you do, whether you hate it or love it, but there's a motivating and driving force. But honestly, I could truly, honestly say that I did not have any passion. Don't have passion for anything. And that just felt weird to say. There has to be something. But honestly, I knew and I know that there's nothing. So I searched and I searched and I searched more. Why am I going into nursing? Why am I in Ohio? Why am I doing the things that I do? Is it just because? I certainly don't need to do those things. And I realized it's okay to not have passion when you know why. And my why came from the loss of my child months ago, many months ago, Ethan. The word Ethan means strong, strength. His middle name was Asher, which means happy. And those are two things that really embodied him, that really was definitely the traits that he embodied and carried and demonstrated every day, despite being diagnosed with Cornelia de Lange syndrome and epilepsy, which at the age of 4, he passed away from in my arms. Along with him passing away was the passing away of much of me, my passions as well, hopes, dreams, a lot of things. And that makes this video harder because that anniversary was just a few days ago of that incident. And I think that's okay, an okay reason to not have passion. Yes. Well, anyway, I thought about, have I had passion before him? And what was it? I was asked, "Where's your home? Why are you here?" And I know I didn't have a home growing up. Spent a large amount of time homeless. My family stayed at a rest stop in Georgia, women's shelter in Georgia, friends and family. I went to 19 different schools growing up, 7 different high schools. And that figure doesn't account for any institution that I returned to. One point was averaging about 2 or 3 schools in a school year. And I was thinking about my past, but further back. Who else didn't have a home? My ancestors, when they were taken from their home. And I thought about the resilience that flows through me, the resilience that, despite everything, and everyone has a story, and everyone has been through something. A person I greatly admire gave me their story recently, and it just blew me away. Stories are beautiful things. So I realized majority of my life has been like a comet, just floating along, just going, avoiding all these people and places that are established and seem to have everything going on, and I'm just zipping by. But as passion states, or the definition, passion is a strong desire to get you to do amazing things. And my strong desire is to keep going, regardless, despite, to stand before you with 29 screws in my face, a military veteran, a victim of abuse by every definition as a child, to a person who truly loves to smile and always will. So, what wakes me up? What gets me to do what I do? And I realize it's a little boy named Jaden. He is my youngest. And I realized that's okay. But why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I where I'm at for him? There's got to be something more. Why is so uncomfortable? The question to ask, to discover within yourself. Why is also uncomfortable? Because it can break down areas that you were complacent, or subject you to information that you don't want to know or ignore, or is not the status quo. I realize I do what I do, and I move on because of potential. Not in the sense of parenting or raising a responsible adult or anything, but I believe in his potential. Potential is the most powerful form of energy, I believe. It's like a wrecking ball or a bow and arrow. The further it goes back, the more potential energy, the greater the impact of whatever it's going to hit. And that's him. And that's every parent with their child. But mine comes from the fact that if he doesn't look at me, what does he have to base his life and passion on? Who else would he emulate that looked like him? And sadly, that answer is entertainers. And there's nothing wrong with entertainers or entertainment. Many entertainers are doing great things with their voice, with their position, with their money. Colin Kaepernick, LeBron James and his school, Chance the Rapper and his community in Chicago. But beyond that, we have to be more than entertainers. Then I started looking at the numbers. Where are the black men at? Where are the people that look like him? 2015 results show that 2.3 million black men are incarcerated. You can imagine that number is probably a little bit higher since then. And in 2018, out of African American and Hispanic men, those two combined equals about 32% of the US population. Not in prison, just the US population. But those two account for 56% of the prison population between men, women, and every other race and nationality out there. Honestly, if blacks and Hispanics were incarcerated at the same rate as non-blacks and Hispanics, that number would drop by 40%. So, why? I thought about in the professional world. Where are we? We're definitely not in the medical field as strong as we should be. I worked at the San Antonio Medical Center for a number of years, which is the largest DoD hospital in the United States, over 400 beds, hundreds of doctors, PAs, nurse practitioners that keep that place moving. There was less than 10 black doctors who worked there. In med school alone, in 2005, 1,337 in med school, 1,337 black men are attending med school at the moment. It's not a lot. And we're very underrepresented. Out of business, of the Fortune 500 CEOs, last year there was 4 black men. 1 retired, Mr. Kenneth Schnell of American Express. So now as I stand before you, there are only 3 black men or CEOs. Billionaires. It's well over 2,153 billionaires in the world. 11 of them are black. Only 3 are American. I'm sure you can name them. Oprah, Michael Jordan, and Mr. Robert Smith, a retired exec and investor from Goldman Sachs. So I realized why I do what I do is so that my son can understand his potential, the greatness that's within him, the greatness that flows through his veins from hundreds and hundreds of years, the resilience that's there to keep him going, that has kept us going, that has kept my people going. Anti-black racism and epistemic violence still exists. The numbers don't lie. So I do what I do to stand apart as a beacon on the hill for all young men, young or old, and definitely for my future and my lineage and my legacy, and my son's future and lineage and legacy, and my entire race and culture. Why doesn't have to be the most uncomfortable question. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Thank you for watching.